I'm laughing right now, and welcome back to another episode of Unscripted. But I'm laughing my butt off because I just did a full entire episode. I got done. We were going to chop it up, and I looked at it. There's absolutely no audio. I didn't even turn the mic on. The mic wasn't on, and I went, and I thought I delivered a really cool message. And then what God was saying is, it wasn't the message that I had for you, and I'm going to need you to do it again. And so today's proverb, the corresponding proverb, corresponding day is the 27th. We're doing Proverbs 27, 3,000-year-old wisdom that's applicable in your leadership, your culture, and your systems. But also, I want you to wrap it around exactly who you are. Natalie, I know you're watching out there, and I just want to tell you that I love you. And I'm so glad that you didn't watch the episode right before this that I broadcasted, because I went for 17 minutes with absolutely no sound. And what I want you to know is you're always going to have a plan. You're going to have a plan, then life is going to hit. And when life hits, it's the way that you react to it that's everything. And I can tell you this, I was a little bit mad. I was listening to some Maverick City music. The whole entire message today is about music. And I was listening to Maverick City, and I was lifting up and feeding my soul. And then I got done, and I realized I need to listen to some hip hop. I need to listen to some De La Soul, get me pumped and ready to go again, because it's not about the things that happen to me, but it's about the way in which I react to them. So in Proverbs 27 today, we're going to be covering music, and it's going to be incredible because it's the music that you listen to that kind of changes the tone or the vibe for the day. So Proverbs 27, unscripted, corresponding proverb, corresponding day, 3,000-year-old wisdom. Take two. Let's get this party started.
Cause we believing it's for certain. We put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting right before your eyes. So it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves but can't walk in my shoes.
Are you in a storm right now? Well, I can tell you this. I reached out to my men's group yesterday, or I believe it was yesterday, and I said, hey guys, I'm in a storm, but I know the rain is going to bring some sort of crop. And all of them reached out. They started praying for me. It was incredible. And then a couple guys were like, you were a little bit cryptic. Let us know. Well, what happened was a couple days ago, after I came off an amazing event, I checked my bank account, and SDG&E, the gas company, hit me for $8,000. Well, I called my wife and I was like, what is going on here? Then we got with them and they said they were going to refund it. And then on the day when they were supposed to refund it, guess what they did? Hit us for another $8,000. That was $16,000 that we got hit by the gas company. And what I was saying is, as I was reading in Proverbs, it said that purification comes through intense heat. And I was like, God, this is some intense heat. So you better be bringing a big old blessing. This is the way that I communicate with God, and I invite you to have a personal relationship, not through ritual or religion, but just you and him communing, because that's where he's going to be able to talk to you. Proverbs 27, corresponding proverb, corresponding day, 3,000-year-old wisdom inspired by God. We're going to be going through it. Today, I came into my studio. I was setting everything up. We were setting up in a different part of the studio, and I said, look, I need to listen to some Maverick City. Maverick City music started healing my soul. There was a song called Refiner. And then there was a song that was like, He's in the Room. And it was getting me all emotional. Tears came and think about my parents and all these things. And it was incredible because for me, in December 27th, 2018, in verse 7 of Proverbs 27, it says, one who is full loathes honey from the comb, but to the hungry, even what is bitter tastes sweet. And it hit me at that time. And I was saying, like, when people are full, they look at the blessings in their life. When they're full of blessings, sometimes they look at it and they don't even want to look at the blessings. They don't even want to, they don't want to acknowledge them. And sometimes when you're struggling, you're like, man, I would take anything from what they're doing. And so I asked God at this time, December 27th, 2018, I said, God, you said you would never leave me nor forsake me. I feel alone, angry, and lost. Please lead me. And it's incredible because I want you to know that you could question God. You could question him, and there's going to be times where you're going to be like, yo, what's up? Just like the episode right before this. I did a whole episode, 17 minutes, no mic on. But there's a reason for that. And I believe that it's the type of music that we listen to that will shape the way that we react to certain situations. Watch this. So for me, I either listen to two type of music. Number one, hip hop. Number two, praise music. Maverick City Music, Toby Mac, Hillsong, all those things. My wife is like, there's no in between with you. Well, what I found is my praise music fills me up and my hip hop adds action to it. I was going to preach a sermon one time in Lodi, California for Lance Kaufman, and big shout out to you, Lance. And I got up in that morning and I went to go for a run to kind of get my body moving. And I was like, I need to listen to some praise music. And God was like, no, I need you to listen to some hip hop. I need you to listen to some Jay-Z. And so I was running and I was like, are you sure, God? He said, yeah. So I started listening to some hip hop. And what I realized, I was listening to it, I got pumped, I was running all this stuff. And then I'm like, God, why do I need to listen to hip hop? And what he told me, there's no MC in the world that's ever said, I'm the second greatest MC of all time. They always say I'm the greatest. And he said, son, I'm the greatest. I'm number one. And I will share my throne and my glory with no one. When you look to me, everything will fall in line. Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all else will be added on. And I was able to deliver that message, letting people know that it's okay to listen to a different type of music because God can speak through anything. And so here we go. In point number one, in Proverbs 27, the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. Here we go. Number one, ego. Ego is the first verse 1 and 2. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what the day may bring. For those of you who experienced the coronavirus or the crash in 2008, don't boast about what's going on today because you have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. And it says here, let someone else praise you and not your own mouth, an outsider and not your own lips. We built a whole entire company on this. We wanted other people to speak life to you and speak about the great things that you did as opposed to you trying to beat your chest. Number two, keep your cool. This is the hardest one for me. And I believe that this verse 3,000 years ago was written for me because I lose my cool when I get on the phone with T-Mobile, with DirecTV, or anybody who is almost like a telemarketer. I'm trying to deal with, get through a bill, and I'm getting a call center. So here we go. Verse number 3, stone is heavy and sand is a burden, but a fool's provocation is heavier than them both. Bang, bang, biggity, bang. I don't know if it's you, but it's definitely me. I lose my cool a lot. What God is saying is, you're losing your cool because you listen to the wrong music. Listen to me, and I'll check your ego. I'll help you to be able to keep your cool. Number 3 is value your friends. That's verses 5 through 10. So verse 5 through 10, well, let's just look at this. Number 5, better is an open rebuke than hidden love. Mr. Greg Reed, thank you so much. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Greg Reed is to the point. He's one of my best friends. And look at this. Better is an open rebuke than hidden love. And it's amazing because a lot of times we think, oh, that person's not being nice to me. But if they love you, they'll tell you the truth. But then here we go. It goes to this in verse 10. Do not forsake your friend or a friend of your family, and do not go to your relative's house when disaster strikes you. Better a neighbor nearby than a relative far away. Be a great friend, and be a great friend to those around you. Speak life to people, lift them up. Value the friends that you have, and I value Mr. Greg Reed. I value my buddy Willie, who listens to me on the phone, my brother Rob, who when I go through storms like we've been going through recently, he just says, how you doing? I'll listen to you, and it helps me to be able to shift my perspective. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love all my friends. Now, point number 4 is iron sharpens iron, right? And so this is verse 17, and it says it right there. So in verse 17, iron sharpens iron as one person sharpens another. You're the sum of the 5 people that are around you. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Guys, business books, personal development books, they all come from 3,000-year-old wisdom, and when we go to the source, it's amazing what'll happen. In verse number 14, it talks about iron sharpening iron, and it talks about the valuing your friends, right? So in verse 14, this was wild because it says, if anyone blesses or loudly blesses their neighbor in the morning, it will be taken as a curse. Timing is everything. So when we were looking at verse 5, better is an open rebuke than hidden love. You got to know the difference and the timing. And you know who gives you the greatest timing? God. And when we stay in a right relationship with him, not through rituals or religion, but simply communing with him, having a communication, sometimes letting him know you're mad, sometimes laughing because your mic doesn't turn on, but having a real relationship with him, he could let you know when it's time to loudly bless or quietly bless. Point number 5 is character. Character is in verse 18. And so in verse 18 in Proverbs 27, it says, one who guards the fig tree will eat its fruit. Whoever protects their master will be honored. As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. If you do the right things all the time, but you don't do them with the right heart, it doesn't matter. If your wife wants flowers and you slam them down when you come home and you say, are you happy now? The flowers don't matter. It's the way that you feel in your heart. We talked about it yesterday. It's a heart condition. It's a heart condition. It's a heart condition. Number 6 is contentment, death and destruction. This is verse 20 in Proverbs 27. Death and destruction are never satisfied, and neither are humans' eyes. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but people will be tested by their praise. Let me go back in verse 20, contentment. Let's just stay there. Death and destruction are never satisfied, and neither are the human eyes. Guys, your eyes, your desires will never be filled. So be content exactly where you're at. I had to be content. I had already uploaded the last episode. No mic, no sound. I had already, but you gotta be content exactly where you are. And this is the most challenging when the heat turns up. And let's go to the heat, because this is point number 7 is purification. It's verse 21 and 22. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but people are tested by their praise. Oh, this hit me so hard, because some people are like, oh, well, you'll see your character when the chips are down. You'll also see your character when everything's going right. Money doesn't make a person a fool. It just allows them to be more foolish if that's who they already are. It amplifies what you are. So that praise will bring forth sometimes some challenges, and that could be the purification too. So be content, be on the lookout for it, that purification process. And watch this in verse number 22. It says, though you grind a fool in a mortar, grinding them like grain with a pestle, you will not remove the folly from them. The most intense purification in the world, if you're not connected with God, having a right relationship with him. And what is that? It's just talking with him. I was talking with him this morning. Why did you not let me turn my mic on? Why did you let SD&G&E take $16,000 in 1 week from my bank account with no recourse? But I know that if he's bringing the storm, there's rain, and that is going to water the crops and the seeds that he planted years and years and years ago. Sometimes we got doo-doo in our lives, but that doo-doo is the manure that will fertilize the seeds that he has planted. This is the craziest thing, and I don't like it sometimes, but that's the way that God works. Point number 8 as we finish up today is communication, hard work, and culture. Watch this. 3,000 years ago, God already knew about business. God already knew about how to be able to create an incredible culture that would thrive for generations and generations, as opposed to one generation build it and then the next consume it. But 3,000 years ago, he already knew. And then people come along and use buzzwords and say, like, I'm the guru. There's one guru. It's right there. And he's not even a guru. He's just a person. You can have a conversation with him. In verse 23 through 27, it says, Be sure you know the condition of your flocks, culture. Give careful attention to your herds, culture, right? And a crown, for riches do not endure forever, and a crown is not secure for generations. When the hay is removed and the new growth appears, the grass from the hills is gathered in, and the lambs will provide you with clothing, and the goats will, with the price of the field, you will have plenty of goat's milk to feed your family and nourish your female servants. People talk about generational wealth, but we've got to make sure that our next generation has a heart for God and has a communication for God, because it says it right there. Riches do not endure forever, and a crown is not secure for generations. And it says it right here as far as culture. Be sure that you know the condition of your flocks. 99% of challenges in any company or organization, it comes down to communication. And communication has a sender, a receiver, and a results. And when you look at the results, that's how you know if you're sending the right thing. It's never the receiver. Are you speaking the right language? And so God knew. It's amazing how he knows this stuff. But watch this. We go back to it. What is today about? It's about music. What music are you listening to? If you listen to God and you have a communication with him and let him dictate which type of music you're going to listen to. Hip hop brings action for me. Praise fills me up. So if you're listening to God's music, he'll deal with ego, keeping your cool, valuing friends. He'll show you that iron sharpens iron. Character, contentment, purification, communication, hard work, culture, all of those things he covers when you listen to his music. But it'll never always be the same, and it doesn't have to be aum all the time. Sometimes it is. This morning it was filling up my heart. But then when my mic didn't go on and I had to do a second episode, you know what I had to do? Like my wife said, you have to tie your hair back, listen to some hip hop, and get after it. What music are you listening to today? Proverbs 27, 3,000-year-old wisdom, the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. I have had an amazing time today. I love you all. This has been another episode of Unscripted, and I appreciate you. Thank you for helping the podcast to get in the top 1% globally. Do me the favor, subscribe. Put on the notifications. Check out the merch. Check out the Vibe Room, a live version of the podcast. Join the community. You know all the things that you need to do. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.